Hi, I'm Lara. I'm a qualified counsellor and coach, and this is my first ever YouTube video. I'm excited because I have had an Instagram for almost a year now and I've had so many requests asking for longer videos. So I'm going to be doing some meditations and bringing some more psychology theory and self-care tips to YouTube. So come join me on this journey. So when I thought about what I would do for my first YouTube video, I kind of knew what it was that I wanted to do because it's something that comes up a lot in my counselling practice, and that is journaling. So what I'm going to do today is talk you through why I think journaling is so helpful, the most frequently asked questions that I get from clients when we talk about journaling, and then some of my top tips. So let's get started. So journaling personally is something that I've found so incredibly helpful over the years. I don't know about you, but when I was a little girl, I would always have a diary that would have a tiny little lock and key that my brother would always be able to open with a Kirby grip. But I would write everything down. I'd write the things from the day in there. I'd write how I was feeling. I'd write if I was angry, if I was happy. And for some reason, I got out of the habit of it. And I know that I'm not the only one. It's something that lots of young children do, but then we stop doing as we get older. Me and a friend, when we were in secondary school, actually noticed this, and we decided to create something called a convo. And what that was essentially a diary or a journal that went between the houses. So I would have it one night and then she would have it the next night, and we would write everything in there, everything about boys, school, teachers that were annoying us. And it was so nice to have something where I was able to process my thoughts and my feelings and communicate to someone what was going on for me. But for some reason it stopped. Why did it stop? Why did we stop writing things down? So this is my first reason that I believe journaling is so helpful. And that is that it gives us a place to process our thoughts and emotions. With this, as we start to write things down and almost communicate what's going on for us, we're then able to start to organise our thoughts and feelings. We can become aware that there is anger there for us, but anger is often a secondary emotion. So we can start to dig around and understand, what is that anger a result of? Is there some sadness really at the core of this situation? Now that's something that we often explore in therapy, but realistically therapy isn't an option for everyone. The costs alone make it very hard, and definitely having a therapist every single day is unattainable for so many people. But with journaling, this is something that you can start to do on your own. Start to dig around and prioritise those thoughts and feelings and uncover what's going on for you. Another way that I often use it with clients in sessions is to understand if there are any patterns or themes going on for them. So what they'll do is go away for the week and figure out some of those thoughts or feelings that keep cropping up. This allows them to see which are the ones that come up so often, as we can sometimes have a habit of brushing things under the carpet and not acknowledging some of the more difficult emotions for us, as well as for other people we can focus on the negative feelings and disregard some of the more positive feelings that have been coming up for us. So by keeping a journal regularly, it allows us to notice those patterns, notice those themes, and also to maybe start to identify what was happening before that thought or that feeling came up for me. Could we start to understand what the trigger was? Because if we can start to understand the trigger, then we can really start to make some progress. And the third reason that I love journaling is that it really helps us to identify our self-talk. So for so many clients that I work with, I will notice as they're speaking to me some of the phrases that they're using. I'm stupid, I'm worthless, wasn't that a silly idea? And because it's so habitual, they don't realise that they're saying these things about themselves. And it's almost like a bully. In your own mind, for some people they feel that maybe that motivates them, that keeps them on the straight and narrow. But my gosh, what hard work living with a bully. So coming back to a journal, starting to write down, maybe starting to notice the ways that you're speaking to yourself, can then allow you to maybe look at the ways that you want to adapt the way that you speak to yourself. Think about, would you speak to a friend in this way? So on earth do you feel that it's helpful to speak to yourself like this? Or maybe you've just never noticed it. And so maybe then we can find some more positive and helpful ways of talking about ourselves. So when I speak to clients about journaling, there's a couple of questions that often come up. So I wanted to share these with you. The first one is, how often should I write in it? Now I have to say, for me, journaling isn't something that I do every day. And that's often a relief to clients. Personally, I do journaling when I'm going through something, when I'm feeling a high or I'm feeling a low. That's my trigger point that I should bring the journal out, to really process some of those emotions and understand what's going on for me. Or maybe even commemorate that moment. For other people, actually having a journal or a sheet of paper by the nightstand becomes part of their routine, and it becomes a really helpful way of winding down for the evening. So when you're thinking about how often you want to journal, it is completely up to you. It is your practice. So however you feel is going to be the best way for you, then try that. This doesn't need to be perfect, so give it a go and see what kind of frequency works for you. The next question I often get is, how long shall I be journaling for? Now, there is no exact science to this, so it's again completely up to you of what feels good. It's about getting out those feelings and doing it whilst it feels good for you. Not pushing it too far that A, it starts to make you feel uncomfortable, or B, you feel like you're not really getting anything from it anymore. So this is one of the great things about journaling. It's not prescriptive. You can do it how you want to do it. The thing that I always suggest with clients who haven't ever journaled before is to just start small and build yourself up. And even if you just write a few words down, that's journaling, that's a win. And when you're not particularly in the mood for it, but you want to keep that habit going, just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. This is a great practice. There's loads of scientific research that suggests that this helps to elevate mood. So that can be a great one to incorporate into your practice or just do on its own. And one of my favourite questions is, do I need to make it look as beautiful as all of these bullet journals that I see online? The answer is no. Now, whilst those are absolutely gorgeous and Pinterest worthy, I can tell you my journal does not look like this. For some people, having that creative outlet is what journaling is about, and that really works for them. For other people, it can literally be a scrap of paper by the nightstand. So think about your own preferences. Are you someone that wants to get all of the fancy pencils and felt tips out, or would you prefer to just keep it low key and have the sheet of paper? Again, it's what works for you. Personally, my journal is full of scribbles and doodles and probably completely illegible. I'm not sure even I could read what was in there, let alone somebody else. But that's okay, I don't want anyone else reading it. Another question that I often get is, does it just have to be words? The answer again, and you might be seeing there's a theme here, is no, it's completely up to you. Again, it's your practice. And one interesting word there, practice. This isn't about perfection. It's your practice. So if you want to use words and you want to use the Dear Diary, today I did XYZ, then great. My only suggestion would be that if you are doing this to reflect on your moods and emotions, then just make sure that you're focusing on the feelings that are coming up for you rather than just the transactional activities that happen on a day-to-day basis. Some people write to themselves in the form of poems, some people write to the form in stories, some people doodle. However the creativity takes you that day, just write what's on your mind. Now, if the thought of focusing on emotions and feelings feels quite daunting and a little bit too far out of the comfort zone, then why not start off with trying to do a gratitude journal? Now, that is just 3 things that you feel grateful for that day. There's so much scientific research that's gone into this that supports that this is a technique to help elevate mood. Now, this doesn't have to be 3 grand things that happened. It could literally be getting out of bed or swinging the Hoover around the apartment. And so then moving on to some of my top tips that I share with my clients. Before you start journaling, ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? What's the aim? What's my purpose? It's important to know the direction that you're going in. This can help you understand how you want to journal and what you want to get out of it to remain focused. My second tip would be to get yourself a nice notepad. So I'm coming at you on editing day because we've had a little mistake and I've edited it incorrectly. So what I wanted to say was, I am an absolute stationery fiend. I have it coming out of my ears. These are just some of the notebooks that I have to jot all of my different ideas in. And ultimately, this isn't going to be important for everyone. But for me, when I'm journaling, to have a nice notebook that feels luxurious means that it becomes a bit more like a self-care activity. It becomes a ritual that I look forward to. And so if you can get a nice notebook and that's important to you, definitely invest in doing this. And my final tip is just to allow yourself to make mistakes. They're going to happen anyway. Don't aim to do this perfectly. As I said before, it's a practice. It doesn't need to be perfect. This isn't an exercise in perfection. And if you are a perfectionist, this could be a really good experiment for you to get comfortable with doing things not perfectly. So use this as an experiment to let some of that go. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to be human in this one moment of your day. This might help you build a good practice and a good acceptance that we will make mistakes throughout every day. And what's more, you'll start to see yourself having fun with it. And that's where the insights come from. So, happy journaling! I can't wait to hear how you find it. Please share any other tips that you have in the comments. I'm going to aim to post on here once a week, and that will be everything from journaling tips to guided meditations to some self-care, some self-help, and some psychological theories. So if you're interested in joining me on this journey, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me. Speak to you soon. Bye.